nicely done. Oh, Pylon getting up just in time, though. Nicely done by UpMagiC, planting that mine, running away, letting the mine take care of the Dragoon, opening up that gap. Boom, trying to run through that gap, and it didn't quite work. UpMagiC, in the meantime, has gotten his third base going, so he's doing well in that sense. Oh, it barely killed off that mine before it did a lot of damage to those Dragoons. Anyway, so both players are actually playing really well here, and a lot of back and forth, really fun stuff. UpMagiC putting a lot of resources into that push, though. He tried to do a little bit of a push, a little bit of a contain, and it didn't work. He didn't quite have if he'd had a couple more tanks, I think he made that push a little bit too early. If he'd had a couple more tanks in there, he would have been able to hold that, but he didn't have the tanks support necessary, and the push went down. He was trying to move in when there were no zealots, I think, when he was all Dragoons, and it just didn't quite work out. Anyway, so yeah, so UpMagiC is a little bit behind in that sense, just because he spent a lot of resources on that, and he's trying to push in with just these vultures here. Several vultures against just these Dragoons. He's pushing them back with the mines. Cannon's going to warp in. Is he going to be able to get some probes, though? Arbiter comes in. Comsat does not go off. Doesn't matter, though. Those vultures were pretty doomed, and he's actually pushing in here with some Dragoons. He's got to be careful. He's got tanks. I can't afford to lose more tanks, and oh, man, the Dragoons are running straight up there. It looks like you can see those Dragoons ran in, were like, oh my god, tanks, fell back, and then said, wait a minute, there's nothing protecting those tanks, and then he ran back in to try and get them. So very good decision making there by Snow, managed to pick off a tank without very much of a loss. Vultures arriving just in time to push those back, though, so he didn't lose all his tanks, which would pretty much lose him the game at this point, because then he'd be really, really vulnerable. At this point, UpMagiC is just barely holding on to that third base with a few tanks in the middle. So not a very good position in general. Arbiters are already out for Snow as well. And it looks like he's getting vessels to deal with those arbiters, but he just does not have a lot of forces. He's having to, I mean, he's lost a lot of stuff here. UpMagiC has, and so he's only got a few tanks. He's having to build Goliaths instead of tanks now, though, because of the arbiters. So he's really, really in a bit of a bind. There's one thing about Terran, though, it's that you know, they can just bunker, turtle with very few units and still pull out a win in the long game, though. So that's basically what UpMagic's going to have to try and do here. Is just hold out with just a few units until he can actually get his macro going. He probably needs to get a couple more factories down and do some more harassment if possible as well. Snow has been doing a really good job of shutting down vulture harassment. And look at that. That's a beautiful setup. Oh my god. Tiered tanks behind his command centers and everything. That is beautiful. And this is exactly what he needs to do right now is just turtle in there. And Snow, in the meantime, is taking a fourth base. Probably going to take a fifth before too long, although he doesn't have a ton of probes, so he may wait until he gets more probes at those bases to try and make a fifth. He's got a decent-sized army, but he can't really penetrate UpMagic's defense right now. And UpMagic, what's going on over here? Is he going to try and take that base? That'd be kind of a silly place to take, because UpMagic could then tank that location from inside his own base. Well, tank that part of the location at least. I don't think he can actually hit the Nexus from in there. But anyway, UpMagic is very, very worried about recalls. He's got turrets everywhere. He's got that eBay floating so the turrets can spot the incoming Arbiter quicker as well. Very smart move there. I can't build a Nexus at 12 because of the mines. Still slow Zealots. Why are those Zealots still slow? He's had Arbiters out for a while. I know he's had that means he's had the Templar Archives for a while. That means he's had the Citadel for a long, long time. And still no Zealot legs. Kind of interesting, but he's probably, I mean, he's not planning on making a push to break anything, so I guess he doesn't need them at the moment. But if he's ever going to attack UpMagic, he's going to need those legs. UpMagic has got a decent force built up now. Decent force of vultures. Kind of, I like that, how they're hanging around in the back, so they can't be targeted too easily, but they can run to the front very easily. If attack comes in, he'll have plenty of warning. And somehow he sneaks a couple vultures into the back here. probably not going to do any good though. Anyway, so yeah, it's just going to come down to a lot of macro here. UpMagiC still does not have a ton of forces right now. And Snow has a rather large army, so I am a little bit worried about UpMagiC, especially if he can get a good recall off. There's not going to be a lot that UpMagiC could do. In fact, if Snow could get a really good recall in the back of the main, UpMagiC would have to send all of his forces down to take care of that, and then Snow could attack the front as well, and that would be pretty devastating, I think, because I don't think he has enough forces to oh, look at that Stasis EMP combo! Simul hit there. The EMP goes off, the Stasis hits the vessel, and then the EMP missile lands. And here he comes in, he's going to target fire down that one Arbiter. The Arbiter getting way too far ahead. He might Stasis. No, he does not Stasis the ramp, though. So reinforcements arguably will get down the ramp. Not enough Zealots, though. They are finally speed upgraded. Comset goes off. There's a ton of tanks in the mix. Not enough Zealots. And there's reinforcements from behind as well. So the front rank of tanks are going to go down. But I think he's going to hold the back here. More Dragoons coming in from the back, though. And there's UpMagic's reinforcements. They're going to come in and wipe up those Zealots. And the mines as well are going to wipe things up. A nice stasis on those tanks. But if he'd stasis that ramp, it would have been a lot better. Those Vultures would not have been able to come down the ramp. He would have been able to keep reinforcements from coming in here. Oh, he's got his tanks clumped up. He's got to be careful about another stasis there. I don't know if the Arbiter has enough for a stasis, and they're not showing the battle for some reason. And we can just see from the remains of the battle that the stasis did go off on those tanks, but still the Vultures combined with those couple tanks managed to wipe out a lot of Dragoons. UpMagiC has still not lost a tank, but more Dragoons are coming in to reinforce. D-Matrix going down, clutch D-Matrix on the front tank. Allows it to get a couple more hits off before it dies. More tanks coming in to reinforce as well. The vessel coming in to detect. It's going to get pushed back. Snow has been pushed back twice in a row now. Just barely. And he has taken that 6 o'clock location. UpMagiC has a mine that's spotting the minerals, so he knows that those, if he's paying attention, he knows that that base is taken. He really needs to do some damage to Snow's economy because he's doing a good job of holding things off, but he can't just be content with holding off Snow's attacks because Snow is getting way too huge of an economy, and this is why we see UpMagiC pushing up his ramp a little bit. That's why we saw him pushing up to try and take that fourth base in the top left corner to try and keep up economically. He's doing a good job of having a nice little stretched out wall of tanks. It's really hard to defend that top left corner though. And here he comes in with some Vultures. Finally we see some Vulture harass. Moving in here, he's going to kill off those cannons, and Snow's army is not in position to deal with that, so he's probably going to be able to